Welcome to my final video on the Italian game. And before we've been discussing the Giuco Piano and the Evans Gambit and the Greco attack. Now I want to cover the two knights defense and the Hungarian defense. Basically, when I bring this up, this is the opening sequence to the Italian game, just to review. And this is the position here on the board. And I covered what happens when you play bishop c5, and that's played approximately 48% of the time. So that would just be actually moving, that's where black would actually move its bishop out here. And whoops, I don't have the Italian opening game on the board. This is the Italian opening game position, and I've been discussing this move by black, and now I'm actually going to discuss when black moves the knight here and the bishop here in this lecture. So if black moves knight f6, it's called the two knights defense, and I just want to discuss, so I'll make that move now on the board. And black actually has the two most popular continuations are where white moves d3 and where white moves knight to g5. Just to bring this up again, d3 is played approximately 59% of the time, and actually it just leads to the Giuco Piano. So I've already covered that. One of the reasons I cover the Giuco Piano first. And then knight g5 is played about 25% of the time. What's really happening here, so just to clear this, we'll play this move, knight to g5. What's really happening is, now look at this, white has it's attacking the f pawn twice, and black must now defend somehow. So this is the problem, and I'm going to discuss this attack and also sort of the trap, the famous trap, which is known as the fried liver attack. So you should know when your opponent does this, don't panic, okay? And I covered earlier in my lecture that the freeing move by black that you should always keep in the back of your mind when playing the Italian game is d5, and that's actually the proper move here. Okay, so what you should play is when you see this is don't panic, because you don't want to move your queen over here, or it's just gonna not lead to anything good. The correct move, I think a lot of beginners would probably try to move queen e7. So like I said, the correct move is d5. Okay, because basically it just now blocks. Black can't take the f7 pawn. It's now sort of obstructed. White is going to play e takes d5. Okay, so you think about it. Next move, if black doesn't do anything, white can just move the pawn up and have the attack again and not have too much to do about it. And actually the correct move here, you're going to see a lot of people play this. That's what I'm going to cover next. That's actually leading to the fried liver attack. But the proper move in this position is actually knight a5. Okay, attacking the bishop. White is forced to do something, and these moves are almost automatic. They almost explain themselves. White is just going to move the bishop to b5, giving check, and then black's going to play c6. The other move, if you don't know this position, which is sometimes played, is bishop to d7, but this is the most popular line and the one recommended by the computer. And then white takes the pawn, black takes back. Now obviously white can't take the pawn or just be captured by the knight. The bishop is forced to retreat, and if you think about it, it doesn't want to move here. It's just going to get captured by the knight. It doesn't want to move here because it blocks its center pawn, and the black bishop has a hard time getting out. So actually the only square really to move it to is back to e2. And then black will play h6 over here, basically poking this knight, and then the knight is going to be forced to retreat, and the knight is going to go back to f3, okay? So that's the that's the line I want to show you. I just want to back up to where we had the fried liver attack, where black made this move knight to a5, and what happens when black actually takes this pawn here. Now this is the fried liver attack. It looks like black can just win the pawn. Say black, black won a pawn, but here's the trick: is that we're going to take right here with the knight. So knight takes f7. Now black can refuse, but it's going to be not a good thing. So black takes the knight, and then the queen comes out giving check and actually attacking the knight again, so threatening to win the knight. So the king comes up to e6. White will play knight to c3, attacking the knight for a third time, threatening to win the knight again. And then black actually has a few moves. The most popular are here and here for the knight, defending the knight again because it's attacked. So this knight here is actually attacked 3 times and defended twice. So the most popular move is to move the knight to here. So it's actually defending the knight and actually threatening to come to c2, or it forks king and rook. Okay. And here the computer recommends actually moving the bishop back to b3. I think the other move is queen to e4. It's the other popular move, but I also agree that the best move is probably bishop to b3. Okay, and that sort of ends it. And then what's going to happen? Black's going to play c6 to now protect the knight again. And actually the kings can sort of move over into this direction, somewhat over into here, maybe try to run for over here, and as the pieces get out for safety, because this side over here, the king side, has been compromised. So now let's back up to the Italian game and talk about the Hungarian defense. So the Hungarian defense, this is the Italian game position, is where black plays knight to e7. Basically, it's now there's no foolishness about the knight trying to come here, even if white plays this pawn up. And then even if that happens, if the knight comes out and white tries to play, or like black tries to play here, and then here, black can just castle quickly. But the normal sequence is after this, white's going to play d4, and then black, the proper move is d6. Okay, so that way after the recapture, both black and white will have a pawn in the center. So still black is fighting toe for toe with white in the center for development. And then the queens are going to come off, and then it's sort of developed normally. So when you ask yourself, well, hey, the Hungarian defense looks great. I actually play it, and a lot of people will play it just to avoid the complications that you've seen us go through for the Giuco Paiano and for the 2 knights defense and the fried liver attack and all these things. It avoids all that. The thing, though, is technically it doesn't give black or it gives white an advantage in the end game. Now that's probably great for masters that can play beautiful moves, and that's why you don't see it at the master level too much. But all of us are not masters, so this position looks quite playable for black. But it's saying the masters have realized in the long term that white has an advantage in the long run. But hopefully, if you're an okay player, your opponent won't play as good as moves, and you'll be able to equalize. So that's the reason I played, saying, hey, I'm gonna avoid all those complications, and I'm gonna play the Hungarian defense. But I would try out all the openings and see which one you like.